Hallelujah.
Good afternoon, everybody. It's such a pleasure to see your, I'm going to say smiling faces. I don't want to be a liar, so can we smile? Beautiful, beautiful. All right, so today, Fiona and I will be giving the eulogy of the late Veronica Joy Johnson Davis, affectionately known to many as Sister Mattie. Sunrise, the 27th day of July, 1963. Sunset, the 20th day of December, 2023.
Today, we have gathered to celebrate, remember, and say goodbye to our beloved Veronica Joy Johnson Davis. We are honored to share with you a glimpse into the life lived by our favorite.
Taking the words of Mr. Winston Churchill, we make a living by what we get. We make a life by what we give. If that is true, then Veronica made a great life. Because I have never come across another so selfless. And I know that many of you can agree with me on that. So, we're going to give you, as Fiona said, a glimpse into her life. We cannot cover everything that Auntie Mattie has done for us. So, this is our point of view.
I am sure our lives have all been touched by this angel in some way or another. So here are some details you may not have known about our Veronica. On the 27th day of July, 1963, in the cool, tranquil district of Johut, Trelawney, a most special event occurred. Mr. and Mrs. Martin and Mabel Johnson were blessed with their sixth child. This beautiful baby girl was most definitely considered a bundle of joy, and so they named her Veronica Joy Johnson.
Veronica received her primary education at the Elizabeth College School. Now, while most of us know Veronica to be a peacemaker, what may surprise you is that she was also a fighter. She often told the story of how her dad, Martin, let his kids know that if you went to jail because you stole, he was not going to bail you. But if you went to jail because you were in a fight, then he would definitely bail you. He also added that you were to ensure that you won that fight, because if you didn't, you get another beating on top of it. So Veronica, Cynthia, and Beverly ensured that they won these fights and that they were helpers in those fights to each other. And as they tell it, they've never lost a fight.
Veronica lost her mom at a very early age when in 1972, Mrs. Mabel Johnson existed this life. Mabel was in her 30s at the time of her passing, and that affected the family tremendously. As most of the children were still very young, family members volunteered to assist Mabel's husband Martin with the care of their children. Mabel's mother, Miss Clementina Ellison, otherwise known as Tabby, took the great responsibility of fostering Veronica and Cynthia. During this period, they moved from Toronto to a little district by the name of Sherwood Forest in Portland.
Veronica was never shy about her love for Jesus, so it is no surprise that during her time in Portland, she was baptized and became a member of the Fairy Hill Seventh-day Adventist Church. The move to Portland saw Veronica being enrolled in the Sherwood Forest All-Age School. However, for unforeseen reasons, Veronica had to put her education on hold and head back to Kingston in search of employment. So she found work as a domestic helper in Stony Hill, St. Andrew, and kept this job for about 9 months. While working in Stony Hill, she often visited her
I'm sure they would gladly tell you about our lunchtime devotions.
This is also where Veronica caught the eye of one Mr. Martin Davis, also known as Monk, and he wrote in the letter his intention of making his. He did not labor or wait in vain, and through his persistent pursuit, they became a couple and were married on the 12th of December, 1987. They celebrated 36 years of marriage just a few days before her passing. The union did not produce any children. However, through it, Veronica gained a daughter, Shelley and Davis Morrison, and a son, Ian Davis, who were the offsprings of Mr. Davis's previous relationship. Some of us may have realized by now that both Veronica's husband and her father are named Martin. Did that add to the attraction? We may never know.
Church played a very integral role in Veronica's life, and in 1989 she once again surrendered her life to the Lord and was baptized in the Pilgrim's Church of God, Mavis Bank. In that same year, she was named assistant president for a prayer group formed by her best friend Joan, who was the president. The two would go on to be founders of the Pilgrim's Church of God, Happy Grove, located in Red Hills in St. Andrew. Veronica later left this ministry in Happy Grove and returned to the Pilgrim's Church of God, Mavis Bank, where she was appointed the role of missionary, and in 2022 she was ordained to this post.
She was a prayer warrior and had the spirit of discernment. Whenever she told you about a dream she had or about something she felt like would happen, or often than not, it would come to pass. When it comes to the tambourine, Veronica was very skillful. She was a world-class player. At gatherings with friends and family, you could be sure to find Veronica and her tribe singing and dancing, and I know we saw that here today. She was truly the personification of her middle name, Joy. She had a cheerful persona that no one or nothing could take from her. Some of her favorite songs were It Is Not the First Mile You May Be Judged By, Kumbaya, My Lord. They That Wait Upon the Lord, He Touched Me. Touching Jesus is all that really matters, and
Roll, Jordan, roll, Jordan, roll. I want to go to heaven when I die, roll, Jordan, roll. All right. Tragedy struck the Johnson's family once more. After losing her father Martin Johnson and her brother Lydie a few years earlier, Veronica had now lost her beloved sister Cynthia. Before Cynthia's passing, in a conversation with her sisters, she said to Veronica, "Mattie, if anything should happen to me, take Martina." Cynthia had 5 children and Martina was the only girl.
in honor of her sister's wishes, Veronica gained a second daughter. Veronica would also later care for 2 of Cynthia's granddaughters, Chrisan and Krishan Brown. Her youngest brother, Donald, fondly talks about how she cared for him as her own son when he lived with her in Mavis Bank. Veronica, who was truly a jack of all trades, resigned from the coffee factory to pursue her true passion, caring for children. She became nanny to her neighbors and friends, and she would later go on to have her own child care services at her home in Mavis Bank, where she cared for many, many more children. There are many stories that can be told of how many parents, children, even the employees, of how they were blessed by Miss Mattie's daycare.
Veronica returned to school in New Kingston, where she studied hospitality and tourism. From there, she worked at the Scorpio Inn Hotel as chef, waitress, and provided room service. She was, as we Jamaicans would say, head cook and bottle washer. From there, she worked with her sister Caroline for 2 years at a restaurant Reggae Cuisine. While working here, she received another job opportunity which she accepted and began working for the Campbells for a period of over 15 years. Her work hours were 6 a.m. to 2 p.m. or 7 a.m. to 3 p.m. And you better believe that whether rain or shine, Veronica would be there and would be on time too. Excellence in whatever excellence in whatever task she had to perform, no matter how small, was her trademark. So, of course, it was no surprise that other job and entrepreneurial opportunities came her way while working for the Campbells. When she turned them down, she would tell her friends, "Sir is going to miss me if I leave. They are going to miss me." Such was her level of consideration.
Veronica was an international pastry chef. Now, for those joining us from overseas, if you've never had coconut drops from Matty, you are very much missing out. Her grater cake and coconut cake was the bomb. If Miss Matty never let you taste her tire leaf, yeah, that treat there we wrap up in the banana leaf, that same one, then you don't know when I see it. Her pastries were so good, it inspired a song. Drops,
Skidada, pudding and pie. Taste the cake that Auntie Matty bake. Blue Mountain coffee make you feel awake. Drop skidada, pudding and pie. Taste the cake that Auntie Matty bake. Hey, taste the
make you feel away. She enjoyed cooking for others, and when you saw the plate, it would be so attractive. A fun fact about Veronica is she can cook pork sweet, but she doesn't eat it and she doesn't taste the pot. But rest assured, when you finish, you're gonna lick your 10 fingers.
Veronica was loved and admired by all. It was very rare that you would find a soul able to see you where you are, love you as you are, and encourage you to be the best version of you that you can be. Whether you knew her as Matty, Datty, Miss V, Big Sis, Mommy, Motwife, Goddy Matty, Auntie Veronica, or Sister Davis, one thing is for sure. You got a glimpse of what the Bible means when it encourages you to live a life like Christ. I encourage you to let our legacy live in you. Whatever you do, add that little extra and make it extraordinary.
In March of 2022, Veronica received the opportunity to retire, but if you know Matty, sitting around was not her style, so she refused. In late November of 2022, one day on her way home from work, she felt so sick that she had to visit the doctor. Now, the doctor proceeded to treat her for the pains. However, after a week, she was getting worse. In early December of 2022, a second visit to the doctor raised concern that these stomach pains were linked to a more serious issue. By the 15th of December, the doctors identified a mass that they believed to be cancerous. The recommendation from the doctor was to act fast. According to them, based on the size of the mass, she should be in excruciating pain and may not have much time. Over the next 3 months, she made several hospital visits and had tests done to get a better understanding of the nature of her illness. This led to surgery on March 17th, 2023. By then, the doctors that saw her were amazed by how far the cancer had progressed, and in their words, she could go at any minute and she should not be alive. The surgery was not successful, and the doctors were, however, able to tell us that it was stage 4 ovarian cancer. They also said that with chemotherapy, they would be able to ease her pain but not cure it. However, Veronica refused the chemo treatments.
Veronica recovered quickly after surgery and took pride in talking about the time it took her to be out of bed and back to taking care of herself. In June of 2023, Veronica decided she wanted to spend 1 week with her sister Beverly, and she was taken to her in Juhut. Once there, it became clear to the family just how severe her condition had gotten. Despite the illness, Veronica was never one to complain and who always put her best foot forward, was adamant that she could manage on her own. The family decided she needed to visit the hospital, and she was seen and admitted to the Percy Junior Hospital in Spalding. This would be her second stay at the hospital.
It was during this time that her sister Beverly decided to give up her job so that she could care for her sister on a full-time basis. Veronica was a fighter, and when the doctors had written her off, she prayed to her God. Several doctors could not believe she was still in the fight, and fight she did. While staying with her sister Beverly, there was never a dull moment. Singing, dancing, and praying were their daily routine. Whenever she had visitors, they never left without a word of prayer. And boy, did Veronica have visitors. She would greet her visitors with the brightest smile. You would never guess the extent of her pain behind those smiles. Whether it was to give communion, celebrate her birthday, anniversary, holiday, or just to take a trip to the country to visit her, the number of visitors she had spoke volumes to how many lives she had touched.
Through the entirety of her illness, she never lost hope, and when she returned to Mavis Bank in October of 2023, she was able to testify and tell of her experiences and how even in time where she could not walk, she had faith that she would be able to walk again. In her own words, foot make the walk. In case you didn't realize, Veronica was very jovial, and she would make joke out of any situation. When she had lost a significant amount of weight and Beverly mentioned it, her response was, "It looked like me there, Africa," and started to sing, and the head bone connected to the neck bone, and the neck bone connected to the shoulder bone, and the shoulder. All right.
There were times when she would tell Beverly that she wanted to swim, and the loving sister that Miss Beverly was, she filled her tub with water and put her in it to swim. Veronica would say, "This feels good." In a conversation with Fiona, she once told her, "Sister Bev tried everything. She had doctor, she had nurse, but this head nurse On the 12th of December 2023, she celebrated her 36th wedding anniversary. Her husband Martin and myself came to celebrate with her. Veronica, on the 19th of December, she reached out to her sister Caroline and asked her to visit. When Caroline said she had some motor vehicle problems, she quickly called her on video talk and said, "Me say you fi come." She also called her husband Martin and extended the same invitation to him.
On the 20th of December, Veronica, though she still could not eat, requested porridge, and she had a little and enjoyed it. At about 3:45 p.m., she said to Caroline that she saw the children eating and saw the 7 seals and was trying to open it, but she was not able to open it. She then asked Caroline to ensure she told Fiona to take Beverly to the doctor and to call her to her bedside. When Beverly arrived, she asked her for a hug. She got the hug, and Beverly heard her say, Minutes to 4 p.m. on December 20th, she bid this world goodbye.
I am very sure, well, I'm 100% sure that Veronica left this earth feeling loved. The support she received throughout her illness was overwhelming. I'm unable to mention everyone by name, but we are eternally grateful to persons that were able to provide financial assistance, persons who provided transportation, persons who prayed, persons that gave food items, persons at the hospitals that pulled strings to ensure she received the best care. Again, we thank you and remind you to let her legacy live on in you.
A limb has fallen from the family tree, and she leaves many to cherish her memories. I'm sure she would want us all to be consoled. So, to her husband Martin Davis, remember the best times, the laughter, and the songs. To her children, Martina Bird, Shelley and Davis Morrison, and Ian Davis, continue her heritage. To her siblings,
Lynette Johnson of Spalding, Deaconess Beverly Small of Joe Hut, Caroline Grant of Kingston, Deacon David Johnson of Joe Hut, Deacon Donald Johnson of Joe Hut, Deacon Hubert Johnson of Spalding, Pastor Kenneth Smith of the United States of America, Deacon Orlando Edwards of Glengoff. Keep smiling, and surely the sun will shine through. To the host of nieces, nephews, other relatives, and friends, go on with your life. Don't worry about her at all.
Veronica Joy Johnson Davis, you have fought the good fight. You have finished the race. You have kept the faith. Now there is in store for you the crown of righteousness, which the Lord, the righteous judge, will award you. May your soul rest in peace.
Amen. Thank you so much, ladies, for such